You finished Skyrim, you did it again, you modded it, you played it as a vampire, a werewolf, a paladin, a thief, a sneak archer for the 7th time. You want to know what to play next that scratches the same itch. An open world you can wander, a quest log you can ignore, a character class you can build any way you want. Today, the 8 best games like Skyrim on PC. Open, world exploration freedom, build variety, quest density, modding ecosystem, and the specific Skyrim feeling of cresting a hill and seeing somewhere new you have to walk to. Honorable mentions before we start. The Witcher 3 is technically here, but I covered it last week. Elden Ring is Skyrim, adjacent but tonally different. Enderal Forgotten Stories is a full Skyrim total conversion mod and is free if you own Skyrim. Go play it. 8 picks. Number 1 is the closest thing we have ever had to Skyrim in 20 years. Let's go. Two Worlds 2 HD Reality Pump 2010, the Polish-developed open-world fantasy RPG that absolutely belongs in the conversation but never gets it. The first Two Worlds was famously janky. Two Worlds 2 is genuinely good. You play a nameless hero searching for his kidnapped sister across a fully open archipelago. The combat is melee with proper directional swings and dodges. The magic crafting system lets you build custom spells from component cards in a way the original Skyrim never did, and the alchemy is the most flexible of any RPG of its era. Mounted combat works, sailing works, the story is generic fantasy filler, but the moment-to-moment exploration is genuinely Skyrim adjacent. The Pirates of the Flying Fortress DLC adds a substantial new island with a flying ship base. $20, usually $3 on a deep sale, the single most underrated TS clone of the last 15 years. If you have not played it, you owe yourself the entry point. Bring patience for the voice acting. Number 7, Outward Definitive Edition, 9. Studio 2019, the survival fantasy RPG that goes hardcore in every direction. Skyrim went casual. You play an indebted commoner, not a chosen one, and the game punishes you for it. You drink water from rivers, you sleep at campsites where bandits can kill you. You learn spells from skill trainers in distant cities, and the spells require time-consuming rituals to cast. The combat is deliberate, weighty, and unforgiving. Death is not a game over. You wake up somewhere else, captured by enemies, robbed of your gear, and your story continues from wherever the world deposited you. The faction questline structure is non-linear. The 2-player split-screen co-op is one of the best in any open-world RPG. The Soroborians and Three Brothers DLCs add substantial new biomes, $40, usually $15 on sale. Brutal, weird, unforgettable. If Skyrim ever felt too easy, this is the antidote. Number 6, ELEX, Piranha Bytes, 2017. The German developers behind the Gothic series doing their thing in a post-apocalyptic sci-fantasy world. ELEX is jank charm distilled, the combat is stiff, the voice acting is stilted. The opening hours are punishing in a way no modern A game would dare. And somehow by hour 15 it has its hooks in you in a way few other RPGs manage. The world is dense. Every Fackers, clerics, outlaws, the corrupted albs, has its own quests, gear, and worldview. The dialogue is genuinely sharp once you get past the delivery. The reactive companion system tracks your choices and your moral alignment. Companions leave if you cross them. ELEX 2 is also out and is technically better polished but loses some of the original's bite. $40 for the first ELEX, 10 on sale. Piranha Bytes is the closest spiritual cousin Bethesda ever had. If you love Skyrim's freedom but want a game with sharper teeth, this is the recommendation. Numbered Fall, Spiders Studio 2019, the 17th century colonial fantasy RPG that earns its slot here because of how generous its open world quest design is. You play Desardet, a diplomatic envoy to a newly discovered island where 3 colonial factions and 2 native tribes are locked in unstable peace. Every quest can be solved through diplomacy, combat alchemy, charisma checks, or by exploiting faction loyalties. The map is segmented rather than truly open, but each region is dense with content. Combat is real-time with active dodges and parries, decent if not exceptional. The faction reputation system actually matters. Alienate one faction enough, and entire quest lines close while new ones open with their rivals. The DLC Divespenspercy adds a substantial new political mystery. $40, usually $10 on sale. If Skyrim's open world felt empty between dungeons, Greedfall's denser semi-open structure may scratch the itch better. The sequel is in development. Avowed, Obsidian Entertainment 2025, the first-person fantasy RPG set in the Pillars of Eternity universe, and the most Skyrim-adjacent game Obsidian has ever shipped. You play an envoy of the Arisen Empire sent to the Living Lands to investigate a spreading magical plague. The dual-wielding spell and blade combat system has more depth than the early reviews credited. You can hold a wand in one hand and a sword in the other, channel spells while parrying mixed schools mid-combat. The companion writing is classic Obsidian. Kai, Marius, Yatzli, Giada all have substantial quest lines. The Living Lands is genuinely gorgeous and politically intricate. Where Avowed falls short is scope. It's not as big as Skyrim, side quest density is mid, and the protagonist's voice acting is divisive. But the to-the-point 35-hour run with no padding is what most modern RPGs are missing. $70, usually $40 on sale. The narrative payoff in the final act is sharper than the launch discourse suggested. Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, Capcom 2013, PC port 2016, then Definitive Edition. The original Dragon's Dogma plus its Bitter Black Isle expansion, which is one of the best post-game endgames any action RPG has ever shipped. You play the Arisen, a chosen hero whose heart was eaten by a dragon, and you build a party of pawns. AI-controlled companions you can share with other players asynchronously. The vocation system gives you 9 classes to switch between freely. Combat is physics-driven and absurdly satisfying. You climb giant cyclops and stab them in the eye. You launch fireballs that take 10 seconds to charge and feel worth every frame. The open world is smaller than Skyrim but denser, hostile at night, full of secrets. Bitter Black Isle is the endgame dungeon that adds 20 hours of brutal post-credits content. $30, usually $5 on sale. If you played Dragon's Dogma 2 and liked it, the original is half the price and arguably has the better focused content. Mandatory entry for anyone who loved the chaos of Skyrim's giant fights. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Warhorse Studios, February 2025. The most ambitious medieval simulator ever made and a direct, generous sequel to 2018's underdog original. Henry's story continues. The combat has been completely rebuilt around a tighter directional system that finally clicks. The alchemy and herbalism systems are deeper. The world map is now 2 genuinely large open regions you can travel between. The side quest writing is some of the strongest in any RPG this decade. The trial by combat encounter in Kuttenberg is a sequence I will still be thinking about in 5 years. Performance at launch rough, but 6 months of patches have brought it to a stable state. KCD2 is not technically a test clone. There is no magic, no dragons, no elves. But the open world exploration density, the quest reactivity, the build your character through action progression system, all of that is purely descended from Skyrim's blueprint. DLC Season Pass 20 more. Bring patience. The first 10 hours of any KCD test you, the next 60 reward you. Number 1, The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered. Virtuos in Bethesda, April 2025. The full Oblivion campaign rebuilt in Unreal Engine 5 with completely modernized lighting, animations, and combat, while keeping the original gameplay systems intact. If you love Skyrim, the closest Skyrim-shaped hole in your library can be filled by another Bethesda Elder Scrolls game. Oblivion is the one that came right before Skyrim. The Imperial Province of Cyrodiil, the Daedric quests, the Dark Brotherhood and Thieves Guild storylines, the Shivering Isles DLC, all of it is here. Rebuilt to look modern and play modern while letting the original character progression and class system breathe. The leveling system has been overhauled to fix the famous level scaling problem of the original. Stealth, magic, melee, all viable build paths. Side guilds are the best Bethesda ever wrote, full stop. Shivering Isles is one of the greatest expansion packs ever made for any RPG. $50 for the remaster, often $40 on sale. If you have ever finished Skyrim and wished there was another one waiting for you, this is the cleanest answer. Locked at number 1. Bethesda will not ship Elder Scrolls 6 this decade. Oblivion Remastered is the gap filler you have been waiting for. That's the 8. I know somebody is mad I didn't put Witcher 3 on this list. It's the fantasy jaunt, but it's its own thing, and we already covered it last week. I know somebody wanted Gothic 1, Morrowind, OpenMW, or Enderal as a paid pick. What did I miss? What's your number 1 Skyrim like? I read every comment. Next deep dive next week. Best games like Fallout 4 is a 1 video a week channel focused on niche lists nobody else covers. Subscribe if that's the kind of thing you want more of. Thanks for watching.